Tyhme was very, very outgoing. She did rugby, she did swimming, she taught swim lessons, she was a lifeguard. She volunteered for coaching for soccer. She was the type of baby that I'd say, please don't touch that. And she'd say, okay, Mommy. I didn't want her to go. I was arguing with her, like, it's not a good time, you've got to get ready for university, why don't you wait? You know, she had some things to tie up.
We started off making some macaroni and cheese and swimming in the lake. Then we decided to go ATVing. So we took the ATVs up and we were just going around the property, and the ATV was jerking a bit. I didn't really like the feeling and how it was going. But the ATV managed to flip and Marjorie fell up the hill, I fell down the hill. And so I'm laying on the ground and I still didn't dawn on me to stand up or anything. I was just directing everyone from the ground. And then Ashley comes up to me, she's like, Tyhme, what are you doing? I'm like, what do you mean, what am I doing? And then she starts like crying and just picking stuff off my face, like bugs and leaves and branches and stuff. I'm like, Ashley, what's going on? And she starts to kind of like sob a little bit harder. She's like, something's wrong. I'm like, what do you mean something's wrong? And so that's when it kind of dawned on me. And then I actually looked at myself and everything was just sprawled out. And then so I was like, okay, don't touch me, just call 911. And then the next thing I remember was I was waking up in the ICU.
Before they led us through to see Tyhme in intensive care, we could see her probably about 20 feet away looking at her bed.
Beside me was a bunch of people with tubes coming out of their heads, and none of them were awake. I was the only one conscious, and I went to touch my head. I had all these tubes attached, like all inside my body, and needles everywhere.
They wouldn't let us go up to her. He said, the young doctor said to us, I have to show you something before you go. And he showed us the x-rays of her back. And it was quite alarming. I said, what I saw was actually the opposite of the way a normal back should be. And a vertebrae completely missing and a lot of damage.
And the doctor said, okay, so you've had a spinal cord injury. And I was like, all right, I knew a little bit about it from the lifeguarding. And he's like, so the chances of you walking are very low. You have a 3% chance of regaining any mobility. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, well, you broke your back. So he said I broke my back at the T6, 7, 8 level. And you will have no mobility, no sensation, all kinds of stuff. And so after that, I started up on rehab. It took me a week to be able to sit up in bed without passing out. And still, I think I coped with it well. Once he told me, I was like, okay, well, I could still walk. Like, you never know.
We were driving down to Toronto for a checkup. And she said to me, she goes, I don't know why this has happened. She said, but it's happened for a reason. And I almost felt like a sense of relief. I was like, okay, you know what? She understands what's going on and that life is going to move forward.
I was out of the hospital the first week of August, and I was taking driving lessons the second week of August. And that's when I was like, you know what, I can still do this. Like, I can move on. I had to make these goals, and I wrote them down, and then I would achieve them. And that's what helped me to move forward progressively. So, like I was saying, so I got the driver's license back, I got the car. The car was finally in my driveway and modified for Christmas. I had to unenroll out of school, so I had to take a break for that. But I picked up some classes online and some classes at Lyndhurst, because that's where I ended up for the rehab. So I was trying to continue on with my life, and I made some really great friends at Lyndhurst, so that was really great. Like, you met other people that were in similar circumstances as you, and you just grouped together and pushed forward for the same goal.
It was quite evident from the start that Tyhme was very well involved with the community and wanted to be involved with, especially with youth. So her coming to the center and doing her placement here was an opening for the kids to really start getting to know her on a positive level, for sure.
The kids there, it's hard for them to tell them thank you, but there's been a few circumstances where I'll be in the kitchen with a couple of the younger boys who their families may have separated for whatever reasons, and they'll slip up and call you mom. And like it gives you that warm, fuzzy feeling, or they'll slip up and say, I love you. And it's like, I love you too, like that's really nice of you. And then they get all beet red and they're like, oh, I didn't say that. And it's like, okay, it's our little secret. So it's little actions like that that it lets you know that they do truly care. So at Able Bionics, we did check out the exoskeleton, and that is the new up-and-coming robotics for spinal cord injuries. Using the exoskeleton, I've noticed a difference since the very first time I used them to now. We were using a lot of assistance and not using the crutches, and now we're using the crutches and we're walking at a faster pace, we're increasing the steps, so yeah, the progression is definitely there.
I think the bionics is good. You know, it helps a person for awareness of their body again, bone density. It gives them that feeling of being equal, you know, to stand up and look somebody eye to eye, you know, which is something that is huge, right? When you can't stand and look at somebody eye to eye.
Hopefully it does progress so you can go out in the community and walk on the cement, walk on the grass, and hopefully eventually do stairs. So it would be neat to see how it progresses over the years.
I think it's not something that you want to happen to anybody, but you can make it positive. You know, you're always learning from somebody different. And hopefully somebody will learn from us and take it as a positive, right? You're still the same person, you know, with or without the accident. She's still Tyhme, right? Takes us a little bit longer to get there. We do it in a different way, but we work together.